Can't see me.
Sorry, I was getting carried away with the theme music. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to episode 17. Where have all them weeks gone then, eh? Of the DMC live chat. And we are, as usual, experiencing a few technical difficulties. One of our colleagues has gone out and brought a new phone and can't get it to work properly. So Luke may or may not be joining us at some point. We were hoping to be joined by Mr. Ian Ulley, who's also having technical difficulties. So unfortunately, guys, you are stuck with me, Laz and Martin, which seems to be a bit of an ongoing theme just lately. And if Marty can get it to work, anybody can get it to work. So there you go. But we'll do some admin, and we'll see if any of the boys join us. Good evening to Kevin in the chat.
Evening, Kevin.
Evening to Mick, who's just seen
Mick.
So firstly, as always, good evening to Laz from Laszlo Collectibles. Good evening, Laz. How are you, my friend?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good show. And good evening to my good friend, Mr. Martin there from Dinky's Restorations.
Hello, everybody.
As though it's going to be owned by somebody else. I don't know why that came up right. Anyway, so there you go. These guys are two of our newly formed benefactors. We've scrapped the old Patreon scheme that went south pretty quickly. So, excuse me, Ian is another benefactor, as is Luke when he joins us, as is Mr. Tony Hughes, as is Mr. Lee Jackson. And on the back of that, we want to, on behalf of the boys, we want to wish, well, on behalf of the DMC as in total. I'll just see a message pop up from Ian, but I'll come back to that in a second. We want to wish Lee all the best for the upcoming operation he's got when he goes into hospital next week. All the best, Lee. We love you loads.
Yeah.
We're hoping that Jackie, Lee's wife, will keep us up to speed. So God bless. Hope things all pull out, will come together. Ian said, click the link. Then they said, allow camera and sound. I did that. Then they said, audio not allowed, video only. I could see you guys, but couldn't speak. Okay.
No, I've not heard that one. Yeah.
May have to do a bit of offline testing then, Ian. That's a bit of a blow for us, isn't it?
Is there not a microphone thing we've got across it and you can click it and it'll come on?
Just check, see if you've got any 3 dots around your screen, anything like that, where you can enable your microphone. Unfortunately, we've not got 2 settings that are the same. But go on, Laz, did you want to say something?
Yeah, or if when you send the link to him or Messenger, if you click on that, then the 3 dots up on the corner. If you click on that, for me, I open it in Samsung internet. Yeah. Maybe he can open it on iPhone internet or whatever phone he has, and possibly, open it on the browser rather than the link, and that might because
that's what I have to do.
So apologies to Ian that it's gone a bit south for him. We were looking forward to having him online. He may yet join us if he wants to do a bit of testing. We'll see if we can get him online. As is the same with Luke. We're trying to get Luke online. So yes, good evening, Kev. Good evening to Mick. Hopefully some of the guys will join us soon. So just to finish off what I was saying, we got rid of Patreon. We are now using PayPal. If you want to donate between £2 to £5 a month to help us with our licensing costs, then please do so. Give me a call and I will pass on some details. You will get a benefactor's shield. Ian's saying he's got a Motorola.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I ain't got a clue with that one then.
No.
I've got the laptop on, so I'm reading the comments.
Okay. So if you want to become a benefactor and donate between £2 and £5, we've got a PayPal link that you can help us out with. And then if you ever if you ever take part in any of our monthly challenges, your name is added to the list of credits at the end of the video. So we give everybody a shout out like that. If you actually take part in the event, we put a nice little shield on your pictures to say that
you get a cuddly toy in the post.
You get a cuddly toy. We may be able to say by the time we get all the 2Ps and 1Ps in, we'll be able to afford a cuddly toy in about 5 years.
You get a die-cast shell, and then the following month you get the wheels, and the month after that you get the axles.
Yes, we ought to do his own version of the model, aren't we?
yeah.
So in a magazine.
Plus a medieval badge, shield. As a badge.
Yeah. Or a DMC, a very small DMC teddy bear that's on a key ring or something like that. We'll have to have a look at doing some marketing material.
You get a little DMC teddy bear or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
A little die-cast car on it with some DMC.
Oh, don't give me more ideas. Oh, yes. Anyway, so there you go. Welcome. If Ian finally manages to crack it, we'll move straight over to Ian. So hopefully he's trying to persevere and trying to get online. We'll add him as soon as I see him. Thank you to the regulars that have joined us again in the chat. So far, we've got Mick and Kevin. So, hopefully there'll be a few more boys here a bit later on. This is why we do this spiel at the beginning, just to give people a chance to catch up with us.
6 people watching, so there might be more people watching than.
Yeah, give us an hello in the chat if you've joined us, so we can keep a track on who's here and say hello back. So that all being done, dusted and out of the way. I've tried to waffle on for 7 minutes. We'll do a round table. We'll eat into that little portion of the program, and we'll see what happens after that. So, Laz, what have you been up to this week, my friend?
Actually, I just completed a video today. 2 videos, actually. I finished the. I don't know if you want me to show you that van.
By all means, my friend. By all means. By all means.
I just finished this one today.
Russ from Play Apps is here. Hi, Russ. How you doing, mate?
All right, Russ. All right, Russ.
I just finished this one today. So Dinky Toys Bedford van. Changed the lever. Put these Rayleigh stickers on. I've done the detailing. The roof is black. And that's gonna be, I think, the week after next video. Completed the October diecast restorations without a video. Again, I've got 9 cars. Completed this month out of the channel. So I think altogether 12 cars I've done this month. And out of that 9 cars, 5 of them are buses, actually, Route Masters. So that's a little bit of bus team going on this month. And I finished this one. That one I released a video yesterday. The Triumph Herald. So yeah, it's been busy this week. Good actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done, mate.
Moving.
Yeah. As most people have probably seen, did this Camel Scarab, and I did realise afterwards that there was a piece missing, and a couple of chaps in the comments mentioned it as well, which was good because I wasn't 100% sure what was missing. And it was the second set of wheels underneath, which I found a pin for, and I didn't realise what the pin was supposed to be. And it turns out there's supposed to be a set of wheels underneath. And further research, after it was mentioned, after further research, I've seen what it is now. And I had a very kind subscriber email me and said he got a few of those, so he's going to send me some spares so I can complete it, which is very good of him. So there you go. So thanks, Kenny, if you're listening or you're watching this at some point. Thank you very much, Kenny. Much appreciated. So what else? Yeah, I'm working on. Well, I've got the end of the month purchases next week after next. I'm working on the Aston Martin DB3 Sport, which is a crescent motor, but it's got a bit of a twist. But I'm not going to give the game away. You'll see it when it's finished. And then I've got November, starting on November's work tomorrow. I've got 2 Lotus Elan Series 2s by Corgi. One's convertible and one's not. Top. The military challenge, to and fro in, which I've got one I want to do. It's the big dinky mighty Antar with the Centurion tank on the back, or I might go smaller if I depending what time I've got. And then I'm thinking I'm doing a construction vehicle. I've got some of them out to have a look at, and maybe the Matchbox Hater big shovel. I'm undecided on that bit at the minute. So there you go. That's me at the minute.
Okay. So from me, I actually finished doing a vehicle, but not necessarily the video, because I have to do 2 videos a month. One for man, and one for the DMC to do the gallery. But I have done put it on the BP station down here.
Look at it.
So the wheels just fell off. I told you how secure it was, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
So so it looks like it's complete. But I've done it in DMC colours, so a royal blue and the Atlantic blue that Martin and Laz will be familiar with, the iCoat colours, and it's come out quite nicely, to be honest. I think that yellow on the original looks a little bit too blocky. It's on the truck itself.
Yeah. The yellow on them smaller cranes. I don't know. It just.
So if anybody doesn't know, this was a little BP garage that I did myself. If you want to buy one of these off eBay, sell your soul to the devil and get a new mortgage because they cost a fortune.
PJ, have you got the banner for that garage?
No, the one that goes around the. Oh, you mean just around that? Yeah. No, I haven't, and I haven't got the ramp that goes down the back of it.
Well, I have one if you want it.
Oh.
I've got one.
Did I ever say that you're my favourite person that lives in Romania? I've ever said that to you before.
Yes, you did. I have one long time. I kept it. Maybe I was thinking maybe I'll have a garage. Well, I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you then.
Oh, I love you, Laz.
I know you.
Get a room.
Now, what else we've done? So, going down, Michael's not in the chat yet, but one of our goals, one of our unicorns to try and get is a set of 64 scale mechanics for a team so that you could put them into that kind of diorama that I've just showed you. And there's quite a few of the boys that have got dioramas and garages. And Michael uploaded a little, what's called an STL file to the DMC challenge, to the DMC Facebook page. And that is a mechanic bending over a bonnet. And just to prove it's 64 scale, there's a 64 scale half track next to it.
It's not that, isn't it?
Yeah, Michael's got a set of these. I'm going to try and print each one off and see if we can do them. That one was a success. An hour and a half that took just to do that.
Really?
I'm only standing in shine.
Okay.
There you go. So we're a lot of things we do, but we do research and development in the background. It's not just doing the diecast stuff. We see what else we can do to help folks out. And then one of my other side shoots is to do I'm doing these creature feature 3D figures, and that is my Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan the Barbarian that I've been working on today. So he's got the flesh tones, the base flesh tones on.
Nice. Yeah.
Work in progress.
That's
He's
good.
doing that
That's
really
good.
nicely.
Do you not have a shield?
No,
Did he have a shield?
No.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know much about him.
because in the movie, now what's her name? Sandel Bergman, if I remember rightly. She plays his love interest, and James Earl Jones. This is nerd stuff. This is James Earl Jones plays the villain, and he picks up a snake, and he pulls it, and he forms an arrow because it would. Why wouldn't it? You know what I mean? And he grabs a bow off one of his soldiers, and he lets it loose, and it takes her out. Poor Sandal. She's what a beautiful woman she was in the day. First appearing in Xanadu with Olivia Newton-John as a dancer.
Oh, right, okay.
But further on in the movie, there's a little Asian guy, not the Asian guy. There's like another thief, and he's the only one that's got a shield. And because the James Earl Jones fires another arrow, and he throws a shield to protect her, so he's the only one that's got a shield. Not Arnie, because Arnie doesn't need one because he's a big butch bloke. You know what I mean?
He's hard.
He's well-oiled, yeah.
Well, hard, mate. Yeah.
Funny enough, Mark, I seen. You remember Alan Pace?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a clip on the pub where he goes down. He goes, "I've heard you're well-oiled."
Yeah, well hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's a brilliant sketch. So yeah, I've been doing a bit of 3D printing, 3D research, bit of die-cast stuff. We've got the video ready, obviously the gallery ready for this month. So my thanks go to all those people who took part. We had 20 entries.
How many entries do we have, Peter?
20.
20? That's good, then.
Not bad.
And it seems to be getting more and more, which I'm forever grateful for, that the guys, even when they're not doing the challenges, they promote the DMC for us.
Yeah, it's good.
People come along and take an interest and do a challenge, that's why we're trying to keep them simple so that new members can feel at ease in taking part.
Yeah.
And while we're on that train of thought, next month's is any forces vehicle, and we decided to expand on that slightly. So it's any forces vehicle, including emergency services, and it's not just a forces emergency services, any emergency services. So you could do a fire engine, or you could do a forces Green Goddess fire engine. You know, it's we thought
the 555 Dinky's ideal for that. Yeah.
Or a military ambulance.
Or a military ambulance, or anything that you do that's related. And a bit of a faux pas on the old. Well, I'm kind of going to admit to this. This is my fault, but I'm not entirely sure it was. The Ashes challenge is less than 4. In other words, less than 4 wheels that we picked up from Russ. I like the idea of, and we ran with that. But it was actually advertised as being a mini. Well, we did a mini last year, so it made no sense that was right.
Yes.
PB kind of took it on the chin and went, "I can't believe you've got it wrong," he said with a sarcastic tone, as though he knew I was going to get it wrong all along. But so it's less than 4 for this Christmas.
I've got an idea for that.
So get your motorbikes out, get your bond bugs out, get your Einkels out. Do a diorama where it's crashed and it's only got 3 wheels, whatever you choose to do.
I'll get me Fokker out. Yeah.
Now, steady on now. Now, where are we? So click that. I will try again. Mine is a Motorola. I've got no experience with a Motorola.
No, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen a Motorola for years.
No. I think you're going to have to suspend your collecting habits for 1 month, Mr. Hulley, and let's upgrade you to something a little newer and get you online properly. But Ian had been battling away with his phone to join us on this Friday night, so we'd love to hear from him. Play-ups, hello, Play-ups. Good evening. Good to see you all. Kev. I've got a Dinky Toys, a London Taxi, and a Corgi Rolls-Royce Corniche, both in work. The Rolls will be a tribute banger to a banger racer who passed away this morning. Oh, bless you, Kev. That's
Hold on, mate.
I think, you know what, when somebody does something off their own bat that isn't something like a wreath or flowers, and they do something different, it means so much more, I think. But anyway, that's just me. Right. So what are we going to talk about? What do you want to talk about? We've got these 30 questions. We did 4 last week because we thought they're not going to last 5 minutes. We did 4. So my intention then, as long as the guys are happy with it, we'll carry on with these. If anybody's got anything to ask in betwixt and in between in the chat, please save us and ask us any questions you want to ask us. It's not very often that people have got access to Martin Dare and Laszlo Collectibles because they're usually doing fixed YouTube videos, and you ask them in their online chat, but you can ask them live, in person, on screen right now. You can also get your popcorn and Coke from the foyer. No, I'm probably doing the wrong advert there. So, yeah, by all means, if you've got anything to ask Martin, anything to ask Laz, I'll fill in these spaces if things get desperate. So,
we used to remember them, didn't we? That the old cinemas where the old girls just stand at the front in the interval with their ice cream, ice cream and drink.
Now. Yeah. With that corny 70s advertising music as well, which was. Yeah. And they used to come around with the trays with the tubs of ice cream.
Oh yeah, the ice cream. Yeah, they would get the ice cream on the Saturday matinees or something, wouldn't it?
All right. Just to rehash what we did do. How do you maintain the authenticity of a model while restoring it to its former condition? We did that. What is the most common issue you encounter when restoring vintage diecast models? We did that. You can check back last week or 2 weeks ago to find the answers. How much do you match original paint colours, especially for rare or discontinued models? We did that. What precautions do you take to ensure the durability of restored models? So that was all about storage, really.
Yeah.
Are there any? We probably did 5 actually. Are there any models or brands that are particularly difficult to restore due to their construction or materials? We did that. So, question 6. After all that, question 6. How do you restore the small? I'm going to read these as is. So, we may go, oh, we don't really want to answer that. Or we might just pass them all on to Martin Dare to answer if me and Laz get a bit fed up with it. Number 6. How do you restore the small details, such as chrome trim or decals, without damaging the model? That's actually a good question. That's actually a good point. Because we never covered things like, I don't know whether we did or we didn't, the Molotov pen and stuff like that. Laz, you do a lot of highlighting. Well, so does Martin, but you do a lot of chroming, or I've done in the past. How do you go about?
Well, if I don't, if I have a model which is really near mint or something, and it's just got chip on the bumpers or on the hubs, I just use a chrome pen, just to touch up really. If I have to do that, sometimes, I don't really touch near mint cars or good condition cars. If I don't want to restore them, I normally just leave them as they are. I don't really. I rather do a proper restoration, or I just don't touch the car, I think. But yeah, if there's something just really missing something, I just use the right color to make it.
You have been known to add the odd highlight where there wasn't one in the first place, like indicators, brake lights, headlights, that kind of thing. Things that make sense to highlight, but
yeah,
without going over the top.
I think it's a fragile question, because sometimes you see I do the Leslie ones, and sometimes I do what Martin said, a sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just really go like the factory version. So I don't even add indicators, door handles, nothing. Just spray the car. Look at the pictures. Just keep the bumpers on the front, or if they have at the back as well, and that's it. I just leave it as it is. Well, it's a difficult question to do the extra details or not to do the extra details. I normally do the extra details because I like to make them look realistic.
Fair enough, Martin.
Yeah, it's like I said. It's a bit of a funny question. That if you've got something really old and it's possibly highly collectible, some of the older Dinkies or some of the older, well, I say some of the Crescents and Lone Stars, some of the older brands, and it's in good condition. Let's say, for instance, a Spot On, because they're quite sought after and they're quite expensive. And you've got one which is, you're lucky to get one with completed bumpers front and back, and it's maybe part of the bumper's broken, or there's a few chips in the paint, depending. It's very difficult actually to match paint if it's chipped. If you're going to try and cover up chips in the paint, it's difficult because the paint layers, you'd have to sort of build up your paint layers, because if you just put the same color, you can mix the color up and just whack it over the chip, you're going to see the depth. You've got to build that depth up. So that's where it becomes the case, as like Laz mentioned, whether you actually bother to touch it or you don't. If you've got a vehicle which is in good condition, but the paint is chipped in certain areas, but then you've got to assess to yourself, are the chips that bad? If there's one or two little flea bites on it, probably leave it. But if it's covered in chips, then you've got to say to yourself, I need to strip the paint off it. But then it comes into the question, are you a collector of original toys, or do you mind having a restored toy? If you're an avid collector and it's got to be right and it's got to be the same, then you won't even touch it. You'll leave it as it is. You'll probably clean it and leave it. But for what we do, restoring, then you got that decision to make. How bad is it? Is it worth me stripping all the paint off and starting again, or do I just clean it up, touch up repairs? Maybe you've got a broken bumper, maybe you can put a bit of plastic card around it and re-chrome the whole bumper. You blend it in so it's not broken and it's not been restored, but it's been repaired, if you know what I mean. There's that little balance you have to work out yourself. It all depends to the individual how far you want to go with it. Do you want to strip it and restore it, or do you want to have it as a collector's piece, as original, and just put new tires on it and do the odd repair if it needs to? If it had number plates on it, then put number plates back on it. Or did it have a suitcase in the boot, or didn't it have a suitcase? Those little things. So it's that borderline. It's that borderline. How far do you go? I've got several cars down there which I sit and look at and think, well, shall I do them? Shan't I do them? And I'm thinking they're too good to actually strip down and restore, but they're not that bad. If I wanted to, I could sell them on. I could clean them, wash them, polish them, and clean them and sell them on if I wanted to, or they could sit quite happily in my collection on there. It's individual how you feel, what you want to do. But regarding doing, actually using what materials to use, if you're doing chrome, then there's a lot of people have different ideas of how to do chrome. You could use Martell chromes, you can use liquid brush on chromes. You can use foil. You can use the pens. It depends. I mean, a lot of the older dinkies and corgis, the chrome wasn't like in your face chrome. It wasn't until they started using plastic and chrome plastic later on in the 70s that the chrome became bright. If you look at the early ones, it was more of a silver than a chrome. It wasn't until later on in the 70s and the early 80s when they started putting these plastic parts in with the bright shiny chrome. So you've got to look at it and think yourself, yeah. But regarding color matching on the older cars, very difficult. Because there's no exact color. As we've been down this road before, factory finished, they can change. The shading can change from one car to the next car as it comes down the line, and people say, "Oh no, it's got to be the right color." But you look at it, and as Michael said, I'll go back to the old one with Michael with his Mercedes, his line of 6 Mercedes, and they were all different shades. And you can't really judge by looking at the inside color because that's overspray, and it's always going to be a different shade anyway. So I never fuss too much about exact shades. If you're a collector, then that's what you want to do. That's fine. But if you was a collector like Ian is, and he took one of his collecting brand new cars down to somebody else who was a collector, and they looked at them, and I bet you there'll be different shades. So there's no, to me, when it comes to paint, as long as it's in the ballpark, as long as it's within that shade bracket, I think you'll be fine with it. I do, personally. But definitely change the tyres, touch up the chrome parts, and give it a good clean. If it's good enough, then do it. But if you think it's not, it's got too many chips on it, then repaint it. If you want to just repaint the roof, if the roof is bad and the rest of the body's okay, mask it off and you can sand it down. You don't have to strip it in caustic soda. So you got a two-tone, maybe, and the roof's all scratched, but it's been on its roof or something. Then you can rub that down with sandpaper, mask it off, put a coat of primer on it, rub that down wet and dry, and then put a fresh coat of paint on the top. You can do that.
I mean, you've got to consider that what we're doing is we're not collecting, we're restoring or attempting to restore something to a certain condition. So we're not collectors. If you were collectors, you'd probably do a lot less than we do to cars. Anyway.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we are restorers, but we become collectors because it's like me. I restore them, but I've got them in my cabinet, and I've got no flipping room now. So in a way, I am a restorer, but I'm also a collector. But I don't go out my way. To buy it for a collection. If I might be in a situation where I'm thinking, you know what, I've got 3 of these Rovers, and there's, I've done one of each colour. In that small way, I might think, in my own mind, I want to do all 3 colours because I've got the cars, and they might have all been the same car when I bought them, but I can have the opportunity to change all the colours, and make those 4 cars in the individual colours that they came in, or roughly. So in a way,
Can you lacquer over the chrome pens? Well, I'll just say that
dulls it down. It dulls it down.
The Molotov chrome pens take a hell of a long time to dry.
Yeah, so but it dulls it down.
My advice would be to lacquer over the paint job first, and then put the chrome on after the lacquer.
You can, certain chrome. Sorry, lads. Sorry, I've interrupted you, mate. Go on.
Go on, Martin.
Yes, certain chromes, like the Molotov pen, you put lacquer over that, it'll dull down straight away. Even when it's dried hard, it'll dull down.
Lord.
Certain silvers will go. If you're using like a super chrome from like Vallejo or someone like that, you'll probably get away with it. You'll get away with it because but some of the chrome pens, they will dull down straight away. Mm. Was that Kev asking that question? Was Kev asking that question?
No, that was Russ from Play Apps.
Play Apps, yeah, I was going to say, because I thought that was Play Apps, yeah, it will dull down.
What was you going to say?
I used to do the chroming before the lacquer. and they went look like aluminium.
Yeah.
So they're not shiny anymore. I mean, it's okay for all dinky toys, I think, because
Yeah.
I don't think they should be too shiny. I normally do the headlights and then I clear it, because the headlights anyway shouldn't be too shiny. I think it looks a bit better. I think, in my opinion, it looks a bit better if it's a bit matte-ish. But yeah, I mean, a couple of years now, I do the clear coat first, and then I put the
I mean, you could say that we've become designer restorers, and what I mean by that is we've made it something that it was never intended to be in the first place, because you can go back to the, I don't know, sort of 75 and backwards. Very few chromed models, very few at all. It was always aluminium or a steel color, that kind of things.
Yeah. There is a thing, really, a bit of a subject, if you think about it. Up to now, apart with headlights on these toy cars, we all put silver paint on or chrome paint on. That's what they did at the factory. That's what we did. Some of them had dual headlights, which is nice. And there's some of the bigger ones, 1/24 scale. They went into the plastic headlights in the 80s and stuff. But it's never really been able to successfully replicate a proper looking headlight. You know, you can drill them out and put a jewel in, but that jewel's got the different angles and the different. I can see why I did it, because when the light bounces off it, it looks like it's shining. But you know, you can never get that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people have started using it. I think they went a phase of putting white on the headlight, and I never really took to that. I never took to that. I thought, no. That's just my personal opinion. But they went through a phase of one or two restorers putting white down as a headlight. I never took to that, and I have used that crystal clear, put a little dab on a bit of double-sided, a shiny material, let it dry, and a bit like a contact lens, really, and then put that onto the front of the car. But it still doesn't look the same unless you're using a clear plastic part. You know, that's the only thing that you can get would possibly look like a headlight lens would be the clear plastic part. But it's very hard to fabricate a part. But then you've got to have. That's where the Molotov chrome pen comes in, because if you look at a car headlight, it's really shiny inside, the inner, but then the outer's got the glass on the top. So you've got to sort of do the inner with the shiny chrome, and then you've got to try and find something to go over the top. Maybe, really, it's so hard to do it because you've got to get it to shape, so it's got to have a little bit of a bulge in it. So it's not an easy thing to try and replicate. It's a proper looking headlight, but would you want to do it? That's the thing. That's the choices. The choices again. How far do you want to go with a model? How far do you want to do?
I mean, I went from using Revell or Umbral steel paints, like an aluminium or something along them lines, to using the monochrome, the Molotow pen. But the Molotow pens, they're pretty expensive as well for what you get. They don't seem to last 5 minutes before you're paying another £7 or £8. And since I've been dabbling with the 3D printing and painting models, there's quite a lot of very cheap steel metallics in the Citadel range or the Vallejo range, that kind of thing. And I think, as I was saying before, there's very few of us that do anything after 75. We don't do the Hot Wheels stuff or anything like that. So I'm quite happy to carry on using the aluminiums and the steels, to be honest, rather than unless it's a motorbike where you're doing like the exhaust or something like that, or something flash on an Airfix model. The exhaust on an Airfix model. Yes, Les.
diecast rival. Look. Sorry, gents, I've tried everything. I can't think of, just won't let me open the link. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, technology, Luke, you'll get used to it, mate, one day. Three
It's that
buttons,
new
mate.
heat,
Three
mate,
buttons.
throwing you a wobbler, mate, in the
Three
office.
rings, mate. 3 rings.
Three rings, three dots.
I'm upset, Luke. Martin is not. I'm upset, Luke.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else to add to that? What was the?
Yeah,
small
I also find sometimes I tend not to use them, not to sort of shoot you down, but I don't tend to use the metallic silvers on the chrome work because it doesn't look right metallic. It is what it is. It's metallic, and you don't get metallic bumpers or headlights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I tend to use a plain silver. I use the metal coat, Humbrol metal coat, and it's polished aluminium. And I find that I mean, yeah, it's a good paint, and I find that's near enough to what the similar colour to what Dinky or Corgi did in the early days. And I'm quite comfortable with that. I have used metallics. I've used Metamina metallics and the other metallics, be it Vallejos, and some of them, depending what brand they are, they leave the big metallic pieces in, and you can see them. You know, it's just like I say, it's personal choice again. Yeah, so don't use metallics.
Don't.
It's just personal choice. Yeah.
Just to pick up on what Luke is saying, there are multiple. How to allow microphone access on Samsung? There are multiple. It might be worth doing a bit of research offline, Luke. It looks like there's multiple people that have been asking the same thing about getting onto Restream or any streaming video packages whilst using a Samsung phone. I think Ian's problem might be I was going to say age, but that sounds ageist. It might be the Motorola. I know Ian said it's not necessarily a newish phone, so that might
Collector's
be a problem.
phone.
It's a collector's phone. It's a collector's phone.
I think they have still a Motorola you can buy. Motorola,
Yeah, I've not seen one, lad.
No.
I mean, I always, if you can get hold of a third or fourth, going back in generations, going back 3 or 4 generations iPhone, don't have it on it. Don't have it for your main iPhone. Sorry, your main mobile phone. Just use it for getting on the internet when you're in your home. Connect it to your Wi-Fi and use it as a streaming camera. I've loved my iPhone for doing stuff like that, and I've got several versions. They've all worked well. I'm on a PC at the moment, so that's completely blown that out of the water.
Yeah.
After all that, I'm not used to it. I'm using a PC. Yeah, Luke said I had no problem with my old phone. Yeah, new stuff, eh? Cool. Who'd have thought it? Right. Question 7. Can you share any tips on how to prevent further wear and tear on a restored diecast model? So you've just done your brand new restoration. Do you think we've had that?
done that. Yeah, okay. It was a couple of questions ago when it had your store and stuff, but yeah, skip that.
Do you use plastic? Oh, there we go. Do you use any particular methods for restoring or polishing plastic parts, such as windows and interiors? I'm going to let you go first, D, because
you're going to say that.
Well, I'll let me put it this way.
Okay, right.
I learned from you, and then I went on a different route.
Yeah.
So
and he completely ignored me and carried on doing figurines. Yeah. Okay. Right. Plastic parts. Okay. Obviously, the main biggest one is windows. Plastic units from window plastics. There are a couple of methods, really. A couple of 3 that come to mind. that people use, and I've used myself on occasion. There's the obvious one. Once you've washed your plastic parts, obviously get them, either do it in an ultrasonic or soap and water, whichever you want to do. After inspection, you can use the wet and dry method, which is, as you know, you're working up your grits up until your polishing stage, which is something anywhere up to 12,000 plus. You know, there's lots of different grits on there. If your windscreen is severely chipped, then you're going to have to start off with a really rough grade, and it is quite scary. I remember back the first time I was doing scale modeling, and I saw this guy, and he was sanding a canopy, and I was looked in shock and horror. He's sanding a clear plastic part. What's going on? You know, and when it came together, I thought, you know what? That's flipping great. And yeah, I was still very wary of even trying it. I thought, you know, is there something he hasn't told us, or is there a little trick that you're supposed to do? And I don't really want to put sandpaper on a clear plastic part. And then I put my brave pants on, and I had a go, and I was surprised that how it worked out. So yeah, wet and dry. I know Luke uses the wet and dry a lot on that. You can go up, work your grits up, but if it's really bad, you've got to start off really rough, and you've really got to attack it and get it down where you are. But you must work up your grits bit by bit, take your time. Otherwise, you're going to end up with scratches in it. The whole idea is you start off one paper, then your following paper takes out scratches on your previous paper, and you work up the ladder like that. I mean, I'm probably telling everybody to suck eggs because they all know this anyway. But there's a word of warning: if you're sanding plastic parts, even with wet and dry paper, it generates heat. Yeah, plastic will generate heat with the friction, so you have to be very careful with that. More so if you're doing like I do it dry. You know, yeah, I don't know why I do wet and dry, but 9 times out of 10 I will just use it dry sanding sponges. And you will generate heat, and it will start to curl, and then you will muck up your window, because once it gets hot and starts getting tarnished, it ain't happening. So if you're not 100% sure, wet and dry, work your grits up, and when you've got to the buffing stage, you know, that's where you'll generate heat through when you start buffing and polishing. People use the felt pads with the cream, that's fine, but if you do, please turn your Dremel or your multifunction tool right down to low revs. Don't have it spinning fast, because that will generate so much heat you'll dull your windscreen virtually instantly. So I tend not to use that method. I tend to use the buffers up as far as I get a nice shine on it, and I either use the clear or the Pledge Floor Revive-It, or the gauzy, whatever they call it, that Jim Silver uses and Paul Storer. You know, you go down that route, that's fine. But also, you can, if your windscreen's quite bad, I have used the scraping with a really sharp razor type blade, where you scrape. You've got to keep it flat and scrape it along, especially on big windows where the windows, like on a bus, you find that there's like pits and scratch. You can scratch it and scrape it and get it level and do that, but then you've got to still go over with the sandpaper and get it up to speed. So yeah, there are 3 main methods: wet and dry doing it, or you can just like you say, wash it, polish it, and but don't use things like Brillo pads and stuff like that. It can embed it in quite deeply, and you'll never get it out. Yeah, that's my idea anyway.
Laz?
Okay, so Martin covered the windscreen. So I'll say the other plastic parts you may have, interior or plastic base. Actually, you can have plastic base matchbox. Can you hear me?
You're very quiet, mate.
Let me see when is it better now?
3 buttons, Laz. 3 buttons.
3 buttons. 3 buttons.
3 buttons. Okay, is it better now?
Little
You've
bit,
gone a
yeah.
lot quieter than you were before, but I can just about hear you.
And now,
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
is it better now?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sit a bit closer. That's it.
So you may have a plastic base on a matchbox, for example, or you could have a plastic interior. So how do I clean them? I clean them oven cleaner. I put them into oven cleaner. If, for example, I just restored the 40 meters spinning, and recently it was completely covered with no paint. So first of all, I cleaned it, and then I put it into oven cleaner, and that will eat up the paint. Then I go with the wet and dry sanding. But the with interiors and other plastic parts, the oven cleaner is really good because it will remove any paints, and you will end up with the original plastic that they molded in the factory. Sometimes you find actually that the plastics are mixed colors. I don't know if you had this before, but they were different kind of plastic colors in the same molding. So yeah, I do that, and then I prime it and give the color I want. This is how I treat the plastic.
Okay. You cut in and out a bit there, so got the gist of what you were saying. I lost.
Yeah.
I completely lost.
Sorry, PJ. Just to finish off what I was saying, with people quite didn't hear him. The oven cleaner, I use Mr. Muscle's oven cleaner for the cleaning the paint off, or you can use the Dettol. People soak Dettol. If you've got like plastic chassis parts, which come in some of the corgis where it's chrome, and you want to de-chrome it, I use the oven cleaner. You can use a Dettol, or there's brake fluid. I find brake fluid a bit greasy once if you use that. And a word of warning with a Dettol, and I learned this the hard way. I left the plastic part in Dettol for too long. I left it overnight and part of the next day, and I regretted it. And it was an engine, and it got so soft. It didn't melt, but it was soft. It was soft, and it took days and days because it penetrated the plastic. It took ages to get rid of it. So if you're using Dettol overnight, no more than overnight, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, the oven cleaner is nice getting plastic clean. Sorry, PJ, mate, I had to chip in there.
That's all right, mate. I completely agree with the metallics on the plastics. Mr. Oven Cleaner is the spray can. Make sure that you got something over your mouth when you do it. It is vile stuff.
It is. Yeah.
It'll burn the back of your throat. Same with caustic soda. So yeah, with the chrome stuff, completely agree. You can mix and match between caustic soda or paint stripper when you're stripping paint. There's no right way, wrong way. Depends on the model. Depends on the paint. One of the best videos I've ever watched is Mr. Dare polishing a James Bond Lotus Esprit black windscreen that was absolutely rubbish. Sorry, just reeling myself. Thought we shared bad language there. And he went to town on it. I had a go at doing it, and I threw my toys out the pram until I came across these pads, and they're wet and dry pads, but they're brilliant. I love them to bits. I went down that route, and as Martin says, when you use the lowest grit, it scares you to death because your windscreen will just turn opaque. It's like, oh my god, what the hell have I done? But you got it like he says, grab some Brave juice, go up to your next grade, grab some more Brave juice, go up to your final grade, and it will come out in the long run. And then what I did since then, since I started using that method, Our good friend Ron from Sumu Diecast put me onto this Novos plastic polish, fine scratch remover. So, as Martin said, I know we're repeating ourselves, but slightly a different vein. I use a very light power tool on its lowest setting, as he said, because if you put it too high, you'll melt the plastic. You can't get away from that. And you don't want to do that if you've only got one of them. So start off slow. Whatever you do with any of these things, start off slow. I tend to find if I'm drilling a post out, it works better if I drill it slowly. You drill it fast, it takes forever. Drill it slowly, and you'll get the sprues or the waste come up the drill. You'll see it. Drill slowly. So yeah. So sanding pads for me. You can get them off Amazon. Set of these burr tools. They're very aggressive. You've got to use them for a particular reason. So what I use these for is when you've drilled the post out and it might leave a burr around the top of the post, use one of these burring tools just to set the burr off, if that makes sense. So there's that and that. That's the way I've started to do things, and that's beginning to work for me. So it's pulling from different resources out of how other people have done stuff. So I'll take a bit from there, put it all together in your own package, and hopefully it works for you. Laz,
We have a few questions.
question away, my friend.
Yes, John. I was just thinking about paint. Can you read? Because maybe I'm too quiet. Can you read?
Yes, I will do, mate. Oh, sorry. So John saying, hi, I was just thinking about... good evening, John. How are you, mate? Welcome along.
All right, John.
I was just thinking about paint pens. Can you paint a die-cast car with a paint pen, then clear coat? Thank you. And I'm going to go straight to Laz on this because I know that you've used the paint pens. Do you use... put my teeth back in. Do you use, that's a lot of use, the paint pen before or after you've done your clear coat?
I do, but I think John may mean that can you use a pen to paint a die cast, not a detail. Maybe he thinks that
in that case, then I've never painted one with I've never painted the whole car with one of.
Well, my advice to you, John, would be to get an older die cast that you've got. You better have a scrap one somewhere.
Scrap.
If it be a matchbox or whatever, and strip the paint off it. Do what you'd normally do with it. Try doing it with your paint pen and try doing it with the lacquer, and you'll know then what you're doing, whether it'll work or not. I haven't personally tried it, so I can't give you any advice. The only advice I can do is get a scrapper, strip it, and and do what you got to do and try it, and it might work. And it might work.
Just to bolt onto that, that is a water-based paint, so you're looking for a water-based compatible lacquer to go over the top of it.
Yeah, you don't want a hot lacquer. You don't want a 2-pack lacquer or anything like that. You want I think an acrylic lacquer will probably do it. An acrylic lacquer will probably do it, but I'll put it on thin coats once you put it on with your pen, give your pen time to dry out. And then I'd go over a really light misty coat just to seal it all down and see if you get a reaction from that. And if you don't get a reaction from that, put another coat down and see what happens. And then, you'll know within half an hour of doing it, or even a couple of minutes of doing it, whether it's going to take or not. Yeah.
I mean, if you've got, the majority of us use a spray can version of a primer. And then it's a mix between whether we use spray cans or airbrushes for top coats. And then it'll be a lacquer on top of that. That's usually the method. It's very rare you come across anybody hand painting vehicles nowadays, unless it's just for the highlights, like the headlights and the brake lights, etc., etc. So you'll soon find out through experience what materials will work with each other. That
I
makes
suppose
sense.
it also depends on the paint pens and what paint pens you're using, because nowadays you've got your normal standard felt pens, then you've got different sorts of pens. You've got some pens what are more like paint. How can I say? They're painting a paint. I got one here. I want to summit. I'm gonna have to get out of this here. Sorry, they're paint pens, not necessarily they're felt pens, but they're like brushes. I get one of the colour that you can see. I don't know if you can see this, but they're like paint pens.
All right. Okay.
They're they're double ended. These are whispers, whisper strokes, and you've got that's like the pen, the paint, that end. They've got liquid paint in them. That's it. We'll get there. Where's the camera gone? There it is. Get it up. Get it up. Yeah. They're very tiny one end. Yeah.
It's that sort
yeah.
John might be thinking of.
You get yeah. They're acrylic or whatever. You know, you should be able to use a dye. You should be able to use an acrylic lacquer over the top of those, I would say. But give it a go. Give it a go.
You can.
Yeah.
And I also found out that you can get a white permanent.
Yes.
White marker. Now this is a 1 millimeter. If I'd have known what I know now, I'd have gone down I had this for a particular. I can't remember what I was doing. I had it for a particular reason. It was just the 1 millimeter was just a little bit too thick, which sounds crap. 1 millimeter, you wouldn't think it was that bad.
I use 0.7. I use 0.7.
Yeah, 0.7 is a lot finer. Yeah, or a 0.5 if you can get one even.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question though, John, because if you want to do restoring of maybe possibly matchboxes aren't particularly very big, using pens is a good way to go if you don't want to get into buying airbrushes, aerosol cans. If you've got a limited space to work with, or you're like some people who the smell affects them. The chemicals in the spray paints and even in some of the airbrushes can affect them. If you can sit at a table somewhere or a desk somewhere in the corner of your room or your house or wherever you are, and do a model matchbox car or a truck with a felt pen or a paint pen, the only thing I would say will be difficult would be if you've got something like a crane, is getting the paint into the nooks and the crannies, you know, inside down the arms, because the pen will maybe a bit too fat to get in. Where an aerosol can with paint would go in because it's of the spray. But if you've got a pen, it's difficult to get into those little nooks and crannies. Maybe a car, fine, because it's very. But anything with edges and mud guards and stuff like this, it might be a bit tricky. But yeah, I can see the benefits in it. Definitely, without a doubt. I think Kev uses pens sometimes on his banger races now.
Yeah, the thing with hand painting is the consistency of the paint.
Yes,
I mean, I've been doing a lot of it just lately, and it makes a big with a couple of these Citadel paints. They're almost like recipes. Let me put it that way. You can watch a lot of these painting videos. It'll say, "Well, take dragon blood red and axe cutting blue," and all these fantastic names. But basically, it's like a 50-50 mix. But you've got to add the water, because if you don't, it won't spread thinly enough and you don't get a nice even coat. If you do it paint on paint, it's just globule and it doesn't work out very well. And it's better to do, as with most, even with our spray cans, 2 thin coats than 1 thick coat. You know, do it thinly, and you can always go back to it and add more.
Yeah, and if you're doing it, I say if you're doing the car, you'd want a good size nib. You'd want a good size nib for for doing the roofs and sides and wings, and you probably want a different size of the tips for doing different things. So, you know, if you're going to go down, I mean, there's a lot now. I mean, I've seen going to some of these cheapest shops, and they've got these massive cases of multicolored pens, you know, paint pens, what build up into a huge, great. They come in small cubes, and you can build them into a whole array of colors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see the benefits of it. Yeah, I think you'd have to practice a few times to get an even coat on it. But yeah, you never know, because sometimes some lacquers, if you've got a slightly uneven coat, and if you do it before it fully dries, you never know. It's sort of thing to practice with. The lacquer going on might give it a bit more flow, and it'll blend it in together. You don't know until you try.
I will say this to John, because he's mentioned hand painting. It's worth getting one of these wet palettes of some sort, so that you can put a good blob of paint on. There's a sponge underneath this sheet that's constantly wet, and it's just keeping these paint, so you can travel around with them basically, and they still stay fresh. But they spread a lot better. There's some, there's some brilliant Citadel videos. It's been the Citadel YouTube. I'm not trying to promote them. God, I wish I could. I mean, I've got 100. Now I'm thinking about it. It's quite frightening how many bottles I've brought. And anyway, but that Citadel YouTube site's been going for 11 years now. And they've got some cracking videos that you can apply to different kinds of models. It's not just Warhammer, you know, it can be 3D.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people use Citadel paints, PJ, for all scale modelling. They want different colours, you know. There's a lot.
PJ, we need to go to the messages, because we've got a lot of messages.
Okay, you go, you rattle them off then, lads. We'll try and keep this short and sweet to catch up.
Mick says, try that once and it left streaks. And then Ian says, got through to where I did join stream. I clicked the stated link was switched off, just video contact, mainly no problem with the link, the microphone. Could it be because I don't have a YouTube channel? And
no,
it shouldn't be a problem.
No, we're not using YouTube, Ian, to connect.
Kev
no,
says,
it's not a YouTube problem.
Kev said my phone is quiet. Ian says, can't understand that as I couldn't do at all. Jessica is here, Jerry. So, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. How you doing, mate? Good to see you.
Evening, Jerry.
Play App says, what happened to your sponsor, Parkside?
you know, Jerry. I did try, but they never seem to pick up on it. Bless them. I keep trying.
Mick mainly said, for cold water as a caustic soda, I think for the plastic. Kev's anger acer says, Posca pens are good for die-cast models.
Yes, they are, Kev, yeah.
And PJ, what make is that white mark?
Oh, it's called AIYE. You can see AIYE.
No, I've not. Yeah, I've looked that up. Is it a paint? Yeah. Is it a paint pen or a felt marker?
It's a water-based ink, odorless, X-line. You know when they start using words that nobody's ever heard of. When you think,
yeah, pull the nib off. Let's have a look at it. Let's pull it. Let's have a look at it.
It's just a yeah.
Oh yeah.
It looks very much like the a white version of the Molotov pen.
Yes.
So have a look for white permanent AIYE permanent marker, white marker.
Excuse me,
but I would recommend that you go if you can get a 0.7 version as opposed to this one. I will be ordering some smaller version. Sorry, lads.
Kev says, I use Posca 0.7mm fine tip for sign writing details. Yeah, that's what I use as a.
Yeah.
And Jerry says,
Trying to get my chores done. I'm listening. That's all right, mate. Have you got? Well, a question. I'll throw a question out to Kev. He's in the chat. Have you found a good white Posca pan, Kev? White was the one that I was struggling to get hold of in any kind of from any manufacturer.
we are a little bit late on YouTube, so I think we have like 10 seconds delay.
You lost your gun then for a minute, lads. Do you want to log off and come back on? And
Can try, yeah.
yeah, let's just see if we can get you back on because we're missing it. It's important what you're saying. I don't want to miss it. Apologies, folks. We seem to be having a battle in the elements this week. Trying to get my children on listening. So once again, thank you all for joining us in the chat. Let's get Laz back on as soon as possible.
How is it now?
Oh, there you go. All it wanted was you to log off.
Okay, so what I wanted to say.
Now you've got nothing to say. Now we've fixed it. You've got nothing to say. Oh, that's typical, isn't it?
What was I saying? Something.
It's all right. It'll come back to you, mate.
Don't worry about it, mate. Moving on. Next question.
Now I can see it, Martin. Good.
There you
Hello,
go.
lad. All right, mate.
I can't see it myself because I'm
You
on
see,
the button. That's why I'm
I love it. Every time we come on, they're going, well, I can't see such and such, and it won't do this, as though it's my fault. And then eventually, somewhere down the line, somebody will go, oh, I rebooted and it's working now. Well, what can I say? What can I say? Incompetent.
Ian, your phone microphone can't be switched off for one platform and working for a video call at the same time, surely? Question mark.
Your phone's microphone can't be switched off for one platform and working for a video call at the same time, surely.
Don't call me sure.
Ian, I have to be honest, my friend. Nothing surprises me. I know what you're saying. You would say that your headphones and microphone are working on one application but not on another. The way that they've been putting security in place just lately, nothing surprises me. And I have to be honest, we haven't solved any Motorola problems because nobody's had a Motorola. So it could be. Oh, good grief! I've just seen who's joined the chat. Good evening, Mr. James. How are you, sir?
Good mockers.
JMO.
Good evening, you were. We're gonna have to come up and see you, mate, and take you out and get you a cheap bloody phone from somewhere. Anyway, hi, Paula. Well, yes, we're all good, my friend. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Question 7 out of 30. Can you share any tips on how to prevent further wear and tear on a restored die-cast model?
Oh, I think we've done that, haven't we?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Plastic parts we've done. I should highlight these after we've answered them.
Yeah, you should really think that. Yeah.
Right, bad host.
Yeah, you can't get the staff, mate. That's the trouble.
How do you throwing too many? You know what I mean, balancing eggs and all that.
Yeah, all right.
How do you approach restoring wheels that have been right? Question 9. We've moved on to. How do you approach restoring wheels or tires on die-cast models that have degraded over time? Now, the simple answer, I'll go first. Simple answer is buy a new set. You know what I mean? Because everybody's thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
and I thought I'd get there first.
Yeah. There is, I think, if they're not split, let's put it this way, if they're not split and that bad, obviously you get the ones that have been in the heat and they're flattened out, but they're completely useless. But if some tires can be salvaged if you soak them in like olive oil or some sort of what they call it now. There's like a silicone oil or something you can put it in,
Right.
which will soften it up. Because some of them are basically you get somewhat dried out. Is the right word? You'll get some tires that are dried out, and if you try one and you can, you just test mine, just pull them slightly without pulling them right off. And some of them you can say, okay, the tires are all right. It's just dulled and it's gone a bit old. So then I would put them in warm water. Put the axles in warm water to get that tire heated off, so it comes off in one piece. If it's going to come off in one piece, it will. And then soak them in, dry them off, and then soak them in an oil to keep them supple. And when that's like is it a synthetic oil or something? Anyway, and then dry it out for a few days, and then you can give them a coat of. I sometimes use a black marker pen, to do that with them, let them dry out. That's if you haven't got any tires in stock or you want to keep that particular tire, then I would try that. That's one way of doing it. But apart from that, then like you say, it's new tires.
Just
have you got a thought on this?
just an example. This is I don't know if you can see because I can't see what I'm showing. Can you see the tire?
Yeah, lift it up a bit, mate. Lift it up a bit.
Up to your face here somewhere.
Yeah, and then over to your right. Your right. No, that's your left. That's your left.
No, that's your left. That's it. Yeah.
There you go.
So
Spot on. Yeah, it's crumbled away, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're no good, mate.
Yeah, you ain't going to save them. You ain't going to save them anytime soon.
So this one, I don't know if you can see this. This one is one of those tires. This is okay, still flexible.
Yeah.
I normally change them. I don't try to save them. I just, if they are bad, I throw them away and put new tires. So
I think the only way that I would sort of try and do something like that would be if it's a tire size that you haven't got. I mean, 15 mil is a common size. 17 mil for the older dinky Bedfords and stuff like this is a never size. But some of them are odd size. A 12 is too small, looks too small. A 15 is too big, and it's a 14. And if you put a 15 or a 12 on, it looks odd, but a 14 looks right. Then if the tires are not completely perished and they're workable, then I would try and save them if I can. In fact, I don't throw any of my, apart from the ones that crumble, I don't throw them away. Because you never know, they'll come in handy for a spare for a lorry, a spare tire. But if it's an odd size, because they did do because don't forget the older dinkies and corgis were imperial sizes, and when they do the charts and make the tires now, they convert them to the millimeters. So there is a slight difference. That sort of rounding it off. But I know some of the dinky trucks and lorries, they use the 17 mil, and some of the corgis, some of the smaller cars, Triumph Herald Mini, use a 12 millimeter tire, but there is some that use a 13 millimeter, and it's not. It looks odd on a Mini. But it doesn't look odd on the car that it's supposed to be on, if you know what I mean. There is that odd size. So if you can save the tyre, if it's possible, then it's worth saving. Like the Heinkel, I think the Heinkel and 3-wheelers, they're 10 mil tyres. So unless you're prepared to.
I just want to pick up on something you said about the putting them in oil. When would you put this? Going to sound, I'm not sure, but I'm asking the right question. But if they're split and you put them in oil to make them more supple, what are you filling the split with after you take them?
Oh no! If it's split, if it's completely split like that, if it's a visible split, I don't use them, PJ. What I mean is, what you'll see is in some of your vehicles when you get them, if you got them off eBay or Facebook Marketplace or wherever you get them from, when you look at them and feel them, they feel dry. and they
Yeah.
look grey instead of black, and they look a bit tired. But if they're not split, and they've not got chunks out of them, and they're not flat at the bottom, then I would warm them up and get them off, and stick them in some silicone oil or vegetable oil or any sort of oil to supple them up a little bit, and then give that little bit of a nourishment to them, because they are a little bit absorbent, and they will take a little bit of absorbing, and it just helps it along a little bit, That's my opinion.
Laz, I'm just running your microphone up and down because we're getting a bit of a warble on it as well. So I'll bring your volume back up in again when we're talking. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll add to that really is that tires on eBay are one of the cheapest replacement parts that you'll come across. You can get bags of 40 at a time for a £5. The 15 mil that Martin's on about, they're usually the treaded or the smooths. You can also go to Lidl's sometimes on a Sunday and get the go on, Luke. Go on, Laz.
I think the tires actually no longer quite cheap.
Okay.
They went up on price, and it's quite difficult to find them. Dinky tires are easier, but Ford is more difficult to find. And I think I did buy 12 for £6, which is enough for 3 cars.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shop around.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, me and Mark went down a route of looking for suppliers, didn't we, mate? And we come up with that DATB. Then we was using.
Yeah.
And we were swapping sites, saying try these, try them, try these, try them.
I think with Corgi more than Dinky. Corgi went through a phase of lettering the size of their tyres, and their tread patterns were different on certain vehicles. If you look at some of the older Corgis, the tread pattern was very, very thin and hardly noticeable. And then they changed and they got a deeper tread pattern. And then they made a separate tyres for the Land Rovers, were designated separate tyres. I think they come out about 17 mil. Then they made the flat edge tyres, with the flat sides to them, with Corgi written on them. So they changed their tyres quite a bit. Did Corgi? Not so much Dinky, but Corgi changed the tyres a lot. If you notice, you'll see that then there was some. I think Dinky went down the route of the slotted tyres, the hollow inside. They went down that route with the Jensen and the Zephyr and the Parisian with the slotted tyres. But yeah, Corgi did. They changed the tyre treads on 2 or 3 of the different sizes, and then they went flat with the flat-sided tyres on like the wreckers and the lorries. I think the Holmes wrecker, that's got the flat-sided tyres and stuff like that. So Corgi ones are, if you want the right tyre for the car that it was designed for, if you want it factory, then you're going to have to look for it. You're going to have to look for it.
I mean, we've both done this, but in one of your videos, you put the Helix circle template where you can measure the tyre. It's a brilliant little tool to have. From when we were kids, you had these Helix templates with draw circles, and they go right down to pretty much everything that Corgi and Dinky have done. But I will say that the flip side of the coin is it's not always the tyre. Sometimes it can be the wheel, especially on Matchbox, where you've got the red hard wheels. And you're gonna have to. You can buy brand new wheels, and it makes no difference whatsoever. They'll still be loose. You've got to do something with either get replacement wheels or build that wheel up so it'll take the tire. Yeah,
that's the thing with that Helix. It works. Mainly, I use it if I've got a vehicle that's coming and it's got maybe one tire on it. And I just want to check, make sure that is what it is. Would it be a 17 or a 15 or a 20? and something like this. So it is handy, because sometimes when you buy repo ones, they're not exactly what they're supposed to be. So it's worth checking anyway. Or
Yeah,
they look the same. Yeah.
The only thing to add to that is which is something that you brought up in a conversation a couple of weeks ago, is the ridge tyres, where you've got the ridge on the inside. So no matter what the outside diameter is, just be wary that you've got the ridge on the inside as well on some.
At a point in time, you'll see in November's video, I've got two Corgi Lotus Elan Series 2s. One's a hard top, one's convertible. Now, one's got the separate chassis. The hard top's got the separate chassis, which also came in a gift set. Now, if you look at the car, the actual casting of the body, apart from it being a hard top and a soft top, the actual cast of the main body looks identical, but the tyres and wheels on the hard top with separate chassis are larger than the wheels and tyres on the convertible. And you'll see if you watch the video when it comes up in November, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
The Aussie nurse flipper, Graham. Is that you? Is that you, Graham?
Gotta be, innit?
You know what? It's like, let me think of the most incognito name, and everybody's going, "Is that Graham?" Bless him.
Evening, Graham.
You're not gonna. You can't hide, son. We'll find you. Right. That's funny. And where do you come up with these names? One of you should be completely banned for, but that one's just funny. Right. So, Jomo, Mick saying mine's a Motorola. Oh dear. That answers a lot of questions, actually. Does God help us both, then, Mick? We would probably be better off with 2 tin cans and a piece of string. Ian, bless him. Jamo, I have a carrier pigeon. What are you offering to rent it out, Jamo? Is that what you're going with this?
It'd be pretty knackered, then, wouldn't it? Backwards and forwards every 2 seconds.
Graham said maybe purchase 3D resin printer and print your own tyres. Well, we've got one of your countrymen doing that for us, and we've got one over here who's looking at it. I don't know whether
you can go down.
What I will say about, I'm forever cautious about turning this into a 3D printer chat, as not everybody's doing it. But the liquid that you do, Luke is still in the chat. The material that you use to make tires, as opposed to something hard like this. I mean, this is
well hard.
Well hard.
He's well hard, man. He's well hard.
We'll have to inhale and paste sketch, me and you. Well hard. The more rubbery type material is fucking expensive. It is well pricey for making tires. We've got the equipment; it's just the material for making the tires.
The other route is to go down the Paul Store route and do with silicone molds and do it with liquid silicone like that. That's another way of doing it if you want to.
I mean, if it worked when these 3D printers work, they work bloody well. I've been blown away since I had mine. Like I say, it sent me off. Like I said earlier on, it sent me off down a completely different route that I'd never even thought of. Kev, on the subject of tyres, have I missed anybody? Evening, Graham. Graham. On the subject of tyres, are the tyres on the larger models, e.g., get ready for this, Dare, on the larger models, e.g., the Cadillac ambulance, are they all the same size? On the subject of tyres, are the tyres on the larger models, e.g., the Cadillac ambulance, are they all the same size?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're on about. You're on about the big dinky Cadillac, I would say. Not necessarily the hub. It's all depends on the hub size, Kevin. You'll get some of them will be 15 mil, but they've rule of thumb, if it's a dinky, lorries, the big lorries, like you've just done that Leyland Octopus you did, they'll come up 20 mil. The racers, the dinky racers, the older ones, they're 20 mil. The box vans and Bedfords, they're normally 17 mil, but the Cadillac ambulance, that's gone more into the 80s. That would probably be, it will probably be about 18, I would say, and it's probably a not an easy size to get hold of, that one, an 18.
I'm just gonna pick this up, D, because Russ is making a point, and we need to kind of resolve it from an administration point of view. Your images looked mirrored, i.e., back to front. What, Russ? Are you seeing the text backwards? And
Yeah,
anybody else that's in the chat, are you seeing the text okay? And do the images look mirrored? Because if the majority is seeing it okay, then the minority's got an issue. If everybody's seeing it wrong, then we've got an issue. If that makes sense. Something's going a bit wrong here. Okay. Can you give me? Can you?
Yeah, PJ, hold something up which has got writing on it. Hold something up which has got writing on it.
It's got writing on it.
Yeah, hold it up to the camera.
Oh, so I see what you mean.
Yeah. Try and keep up. No, proper writing, not that. Proper writing.
He is mirroring. Yes.
Yeah.
Say again, Laz.
It's backwards.
It's backwards. Yeah. I can see it backwards. So that's what I think. That's what Russ is saying. If you hold it like that paint pen up, the words are backwards. Yeah.
Okay, so we carry on.
I can see the back of your head. That's what I mean.
Bloody hell's a good shot. It's your background sign. Okay, so these signs are backwards. So
yeah.
Let me just have a look at the settings.
Because we are on a front camera. That's fine. You just flip your camera.
Right, I've just flipped it. PJ, yours is fine. Martin is fine. Laz, now okay, sound isn't good. Now we've got a problem with Laz's sound. Russ, does that look any better? I've just took the mirror off the camera.
Yes.
Actually, that is not. I'm pointing to my.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pointing us about now, but that might actually solve the problem. So if I hold the Posca pen up again, which the permanent mark, is that now reading okay for everybody?
Yes, permanent.
That's good now, PJ. All right, thank you, mate. So Russ, thank you for that, mate. I did say we'd.
He's our new administrator. Then you've got a job, Russ. You're our new administrator.
Yeah, we want a new gaffer, mate. I'll just pour the pints instead. Thank you, mate. So at least we've solved one technical problem tonight, which is a bit of a bonus, really. Well done, boys. Right, question 10. This is why these texts are long. What is the most satisfying restoration project you completed, and why did it stand out to you for being the best, or the most satisfying? We had something similar to this with what was you emotionally attached to. Forget that one. Which has turned out better than you thought, and why?
Yeah, that's it. If we've all gone quiet,
everyone I've ever done, ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think you do. I think I think you do. I think you get to a point. I mean, me and Laz talked about this the other night, weren't we, Laz? And you said to me that the one you showed me, you was really, really happy with it because it was like you thought he'd done a fantastic job on it. I think you do when you're restoring vehicles like we do, or like yourselves do. You know that you'll have a really good day, and you'll get a car and you'll do it, or a vehicle, or a bus, or a van, and you'll do it, and everything fell in place. Everything, masking went down to a tree, the colour came out smooth. You know, you had no hiccups, and you've done the details, and you think, you know what, that looks spanking, yeah. And you might do another one a week later, which is not rubbish. I'm not saying it won't be rubbish. It won't be as good as the one that you did. And you think yourself, "Bloody, that turned out really well." Will it be your colour choice? I'm just thinking. I did one. I think it's in the cabinet. I can't remember. I think it was a Singer Gazelle, and I used that Highland green and ivory. And I tell you what, those two colours together. And because the details on the casting were quite prominent and you could really pick them out nicely with the paint brush, that to me, and it looked just bang on, just looked really nice. It looked like like a Vanguard or one of the other ones, it looked really nice. And I was well chuffed with that. But I think you do come across a casting or everything just falls in place.
Yeah.
I mean, you stand back and go, you know what, that's really nice. Like you lay your paint down. It's always a big fear when you spray your models, like I do with mine. When I spray mine, and I put it above the fire to dry, and I give it a little while. I'm just keep nipper over and checking it, and there's no fish eye in it. The orange peel's minimal, and you're thinking, you know what, that's going to be just right. And then you look again an hour later. Yep, it's still good. It's still good. And there's always that little bit of a tense moment where you've painted it and you think that's cool, or you've done a two-tone and you're going to throw your lacquer down on top of that. And I'm always wary because sometimes some lacquers can, if you're not careful, if you not let your paint dry, you can let the lacquer will bleed and it'll make the two colours bleed together. And then then you get upset. So really, you do a good job, and you can stand back and say, "I'm proud of that. That's really cool." Then you phone your mates, and go, "Here, lads, look at that. I've done a good job, man."
he was dressed in a bloody hospital uniform, going down the corridor, showing me his bloody cars. Christ almighty, I'm glad I ate the patient on that trolley.
I do that to my missus. I'll come down from the shed and I'll say, "Yeah, look at this. I've done this turned out really well." And she go, "Yes, all right." I go, "Now, come on, it's really nice." Because you're chuffed. It gives you that lot of oomph to carry on. But yeah, I think I would say there's quite a few in there that I'm pretty pleased with. Some have turned out better.
I'm going to ask an honesty. You've got to be honest about this.
No, don't do honesty.
Right? You've got to be honest about this because, I mean, I've backed off a bit, but Laz and Martin are able to produce videos weekly. I mean, I've gone down a different route, but have you got to the point sometimes where it's just a case of getting that done, getting that particular vehicle done? And could it be a lesser quality than one that you're looking forward to doing? Do you know what I'm kind of asking here?
Yeah, I know where you're going with that one. Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're selling your audience short because you haven't put the same amount of effort into it.
Yeah. Well, it's so at the end of the day, what I tend to do, because I put one out weekly, and then obviously you've got life goes on in the background behind everything else. I will tend to think of what I've got going forward planning for the month outside of diecast, and I'll say, well, I'm running out a bit of time. Like when I go to the caravan, or we've got things to do in the garden, and we've got other things to do, visiting family and stuff like this. Then, in order to keep the videos going, I will, rather than rush a big job, I will put that big job to one side until I've got more time, and I will pick a fairly straightforward casting, maybe one color, which I know, which is looking at it, is not going to be overly complicated. Hasn't got all the doors and boots and opening and this, that, and the other. I will go down that route. But if I find that I've got started on a model and it's looking to be, I'm running out of time, rather than rush it, what I will do is stop that video and look around and see what time I've got. If I can do a car in, because I could do a straightforward dinky or a corgi car, single color, I can do it in 2 days, so I can turn around and say, yeah, I'll stop this video now. You've got to have a cut-off point. From my personal point of view, I say to myself, right, I haven't got the time. If I carry on with this, I'm not going to produce a video that week. So I will stop that, pick one out, which I can do, and I know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it properly, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Then I'll stop that video and save it for another day, and then catch up on that video when I've got more time. I'll revisit it and carry it on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how
you are looking at four. I'm not talking about constantly. I'm not saying you start at this time on day one and you just keep going and keep going and keep going. But you are looking at, you want 48 hours working time. No, I'm not talking about lateral time.
Yeah. You got to work it out. Yeah, it's
spread over 4 days.
If you're doing weekly videos, from my point of view, weekly videos, and you want to produce a decent job, because don't forget, you're going to put it in your cabinet, and I won't put crap in my cabinet. Yeah, to be honest with you, to be fair, if I don't like it, it'll just go in a separate box to be revisited again. And the video won't ever go up. If I'm not happy with it, it ain't going up. Simple as that. Then I'll skip it and restart. But at the end of the day, yes, for me personally, I'm always forward thinking when it comes to, like now, I'm thinking of November. I'm looking into the second, third, fourth week, all of November's work. I know it's a 4 week. I've only got to do a 4 week month or a 5 week month. And I'm thinking this is the last, November's the last month for the caravan season. So end of November, it shuts down. So I've got December, January, February until March again. So I'm thinking I can do the bigger, more complicated ones during that period of time, and stuff like this. So I'm always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Like I said to you at the start when you asked me what I've been doing, I'd say, yeah, definitely got the Lotus Elans, but the Hater Matchbox, that's got a lot of pins. It's got a lot of axles. It's got a lot of work taken out apart. And, I'm looking at it and thinking, will I have time to do that? What week should I do it? Will I have time to do it? Do I need to take all the boom apart? Do I need to take all those pins out? Or can I just smash the pins off? Because there's a lot of pins in that thing. So I'm always thinking, like the Mighty Antar for the military build. I really want to do that, but that's a big truck. That's a big, full size. That's a big vehicle.
That's a project.
So I'm thinking to myself, will I have time for that? So there's always, you're constantly changing. That's why I always get a lot of stuff out on my bench behind me. You can't see on camera. There's a lot of stuff there which I would like to do, but then I whittle it down depending what comes up in the month. Whether I've got to do things, I've got to visit family, or the household things, the general life. So but I won't rush a job. If I think I'm not doing it right, I'll rush it. I won't rush it. I'll put it aside.
Lad?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, that's better. That's fine.
Yeah, I've got the same approach as Martin. That's why you see next week I'm going to have the diecast restorations without a video, which is already, the cars are ready. So that's gonna give me another week extra to complete the car. You see, this van I just showed you, that's gonna be possibly in 2-3 weeks on the channel. So I'm pretty much sorted. For next week, I've got the diecast restoration without video. After that, I'm going to have possibly either this van or I'm going to start producing the unboxing video I will have of that big lot. So that's gonna give me a couple of weeks ahead, and I already started another car. You see, so I try to plan ahead as well. So I always do extra cars at the same time. So that is giving me a little bit time to do a better job, because I don't give a job out of my head
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna put a video like say
We've lost your sound again, mate.
now it's okay, better.
Yeah, it's
Let
like
me
that. Yeah.
I'll log out and log back in.
Okay.
And that was all right then. You got it then.
All right, and then it just keeps fading away and coming back and fading away and coming back. Okay. From my point of view, what was the question? What is the most satisfying restaurant project you've completed, and why does it stand out to you? I don't know why
No.
we lost track on that.
No, well, I think it was the next question, wasn't it? That was after that.
How do you decide when to preserve the original paint? No, we went
No,
down a
we've
particular
done
track.
that one. Yeah.
At the end of the day, with me, it's become the whole DMC has become so diverse in what we do now.
Mm.
It made me smile when, and there's a certain amount of selfish pride in this when Martin says, "Well, I've been talking to Laz earlier in the day," or "Such and such has been talking to such and such," or "Ian's been talking to me," or "Mick's been talking to Michael," and we haven't had that in the past. You know, the DMC has come on leaps and bounds compared to. Let me just bring Laz back online. You there, buddy?
How is it now?
It's fine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just goes down over a period of time. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think I need to get. This is my replacement phone because I've lost the other. So this is my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we sort. Well, if anything else, we're identifying problems, and we know that you've got to look at getting a phone. It sounds like you've got the same kind of issues as Ian's got. To be fair, so in the background, I spend a lot of time editing videos, doing the DMC video gallery, promoting the. I can't believe we're saying the marketing side of the DMC like it's a business, but it has become that kind of animal, not animal, but you know what I mean, where you've got to stay on top of it all the time to promote the charity stuff and thank everybody for being on board. If I could get paid for this doing this, I'd love it. I swear to God, I would love it. There's nothing I look forward to more than a Friday night. I mean, look at the three of us now, like a bunch of bloody happy 12-year-olds. But that's only because we've got to learn to know each other through the tavern and stuff like that. So please come and join us on a Friday night. That's how we've got together. That's how we've bonded together as a team, as a bunch of friends. And it's put me back to doing, hopefully, trying to get a video done on my own channel once a month. But then again, it's also led me down this 3D printing, these creature feature sets. So I may be adding them to my own channel. So it might be midlife models, might just become exactly what it sounds like. Midlife models, diecast, and other models and stuff like that. You know, that's what we set the DMC up for. It wasn't just diecast. It was.
Oh no, it's always been everything. So you know, the whole idea was that basically a channel where people can show whether it be die-cast, Lego, plastic model kits, Meccano, Steam. I know JMO did some of his Steam stuff there, live Steam, and I quite enjoyed that, JMO. I don't. You seem to have stopped doing that now.
I was
looking forward to that big truck you had, that big Steam truck you had.
I was lucky and most fortunate that JMO, Martin, Lee, Laz, Michael, people like that, the original crew, agreed to back us up on this, and the benefactors that are supporters like Tony and Ian that don't get the screen time. Ian, we will solve your problem if I have to give you a bloody phone myself. We'll sort something out to get you online. Ian's been able to join us in the tavern. The tavern is that is an animal on itself. And I don't know where we've got down this because it's not part of the question, but we've got down this route where the tavern is like a proper pub. It can be loud, it can be abusive, it can be fun, but it can be well-being. It's whatever you would expect from a pub on a Friday night. And anybody that's not been there before, please give it a go. You will be made most welcome. You might only want to come once and never come again. But come and join us. You can ask. You can be in the same room as Martin Dare, me, Laz, everybody that's got YouTube channels that joins us on a Friday night. You can ask questions live on air. It's exactly the same with this, but a little bit more lively.
No, more lively. It's more. No, it's nothing like this. It's nothing like this.
I will say that JMO's involved, so that should set the tone for it. Anyway, right. It's the same with me. Right. What are we missing? What are we missing?
PJ, do you want to ask anything we were going to chat about? Says Ian.
I'm going to say, Ian, I'm going to say no. And what I mean by that is no until we get you online. Because I don't want to, I would rather have you here. For those that don't know, Ian is a big, not only a benefactor to the DMC, but to all of us. He's shared so much stuff with us, donated so much stuff to most of us. We love him to bits. And we'd love to get him, we want to get him online. We're not going to tell you everything. I'm going to be careful what I say here. We're not going to say everything about Ian Ollie. We're going to ask Ian things he's comfortable with. But Ian is a big collector since he's not able to do restorations anymore. So I would rather have him online, where rather than us trying to translate questions and answers, if that makes sense, I'd be more comfortable if he's here. So we're going to solve your technical problems first, Mr. Hulley, and we'll take it from there. Where did you drag that from? PJ, do you want to ask me? Kesbang, it's the same with me and bangers. Sometimes I think some are better than others. It's all down to personal opinion, really. That's what I get, Martin Mick says. PJ, Ian saying, PJ, the Alan Sugar of diecast on his own modelling agency.
Wow. I will say something though about I think being on YouTube, having YouTube videos and people watching it, it makes you more. How can I say? If you didn't do videos, you could knock out a vehicle or a car, and you're the only person going to see it. So if you've missed a bit off, or you've bodged it up a little bit, or whatever, nobody's going to see it. Who cares? But when you start doing videos, that you're always wary that people are watching and what have you, and if it's not right, there is people will pick up on it. If you're not careful, they will pick up on it. If you put rubbish out, people will tell you it's rubbish. And I don't blame them for that. If somebody says, "Oh, yeah, that's not very nice," yeah, you might feel a little bit upset. Oh, somebody said that. But if it's true, then it's rubbish. Then it's rubbish, isn't it? It's down to you to sort it out and put it right. But I'm always wary that people are watching and looking what you're doing. So that makes you put that extra effort that you wouldn't probably have done if you were doing it on your own.
You've also got to kind of put a disclaimer down by saying this is going to sound a bit brutal, but it is worth saying. whether it's Martin, me, JMO, Laz, anybody, when they're doing these videos, those cars belong to those people. And what they choose to do to them, because they belong to those people, is completely up to them. You know, it may be that somebody's saying, I'm trying to get it as close to the original restoration, the original version as possible. But please don't be bloody nitpickers and rivet counters. They do the best they can, like, you know, and it's all for some of us. It's recording the stuff that we've done. I don't know what's happened to Laz. He's gone upside down.
He looks like he fell over. He's gone
No
sideways.
idea what's going on with him this week.
No, but I think that I enjoy, to be honest with you. I mean, since I've been doing my channel, I've got some fantastic friends who come on the channel, subscribe. I call them friends because they've all subscribed. They've been long-term subscribers, and yeah, and I respect them and they're friends. And there's quite a few people. When I prattle on my videos, sometimes I don't always get the facts right. Yeah, I do make mistakes on the facts. Because, yeah, I do, and I admit that. Sometimes I'll say it's this and it's that, and it's not, right? But there's some really, really, really good friends of the channel out there who will watch the videos and they will say, "Oh yeah, this, that, and the other," and they will share their knowledge of castings.
Yeah.
Especially when I do my end of month purchases and donations, there's a vast knowledge out there, which, you know, very helpful. Will list things that I haven't got a clue what they are, and they say, "Yeah, I know what it is. It's this, it's that, it's the other," you know, and it's that make or it's that make. And I think that's fantastic when people share that knowledge and say to me, "Oh, that's how I found out about that wheel missing off the back of that trailer." I think Ralph Coolin was the first comment came up. He said, you know, that there's a piece missing. And then somebody else mentioned it as well. And I thought, yeah. So to me,
I think what you ought to do is a die-cast plane, right? I'm setting this up for failure, by the way. What you ought to do is a die-cast plane, and then ask in the chat how many rivets are in this wing.
Yeah,
and just sit back and just wait for it to explode.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't mean it that they're rivet counters. No, they're not. They're not rivet counters. It's just the fact that the people will say, if there's something missing, like that, there's a wheel missing, or like on that Scamel Scarab, I didn't realise that there was an extra set of wheels. To me, that's helpful. It's helpful. Luckily, I haven't had any rivet counters on amongst all the subscribers and friends. I haven't had that any rivet counters. I've had a lot of help from a lot of people who have said that there's either it should have this on it or it should have that on it, not because I've missed off, because it was something which was on the original vehicle, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But no,
I'm just going to pick up on the chat.
Yeah.
Where it says, let me go back a bit because I don't want to. So Ian left a message. Jamie was saying, going to do another steamer. Jerry's saying, I'd go to the pub, but I'm way too funny.
Yes.
I would come to the pub, but I'm way too funny. So he's repeated that. Right, we're gonna set. It's no good saying. It's no good talking the talk. You got to walk the walk. Right, so, Jerry, Graham, I'm expecting you to see in the pub, in the tavern next Saturday, right?
Next Saturday, you'll be on your own then.
No, it's no good because don't be the tavern next Saturday because we don't do it on a Saturday, we do it on a Friday. So that won't help you whatever. Darkest rival off his head off. When I drink, I get naked. Now,
we don't need that. We don't need that.
This, though, you wouldn't be the first.
No, not on here, mate. No,
I would come. So don't try and set standards that we've already busted wide open. Ian saying the tavern is like the village in The Prisoner. Once you're there, there's no escaping. He's quite true. He's quite right.
Yeah.
Jessica, when I'm naked, I can't believe it. Is this the same innocent Mr. Ian? He's been so. What's the word I'm looking for? He's been so. Oh, he's gone. He's losing it. We're I know the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of the top of my head. Jessica, when I'm naked, it makes me drink. Russ, the hobby is for fun. Yes, it is. Saturday morning for me. Yes, it is on a Saturday morning. Yeah, but the tavern is open till about 1 o'clock UK time, which is up. Graham, I'll let you do the math. Michael will tell you
When the last person leaves.
when the last person leaves and shuts the door, which is usually the three of us.
Yeah, I had that when I went to Portugal one year. I was in this the German beer cellar, which was in Portugal, believe it or not, and it was out in the open. It was an open air pub, and me and my missus strolled in there one afternoon and having a few drinks in there. A beautiful place, beautiful bar staff, a fantastic beer. And my missus made the mistake of asking her, "You said, what time do you close?" And the woman said, "Well, the last person leaves." And then she pointed to me, said, "That'll be him then." I was over there because with the apartment we were staying in, which is basically across the road slightly, and she could see. I looked at her on the balcony. She said, "And I saw you still sat there at 1 o'clock in the morning, chopping away, listening to the music." And she said, "I hadn't got the art. Come and get you, drag you home. You'll come home sooner or later." Oh, they're good days they were. Yeah, dear.
We're gonna do one more question and then we're gonna call it a night because we've reached our.
Oh, it's toast time, isn't it?
Yeah. It's almost toast time, yeah. I think we may have. I'm just trying to find one that I don't think we've answered before. Okay, probably more sugar. Probably more. Mark, you've. I call him everything from Mark to Dirt.
Every time.
To D.
Go on.
Okay, no, this. Okay, we'll ask this one. It's open to all of us, really. Have you ever had to create a part from scratch during a restoration? If so, what methods did you use? Now, it could be a boot, a door, a wheel, a lamp. Martin's talked about using lights and stuff like that. So let's go to Laz first this time. Result. That's made him think. Laz is now going into full panic mode.
Can you hear me right?
Yes.
Loud and clear, Laz.
Unfortunately, yes, we can. So you're going to have to answer it.
Bye. I've done the Spanish mirror model once, petrol tanker, and the pipe. Pipe was missing, so I used a straw, plastic straw, and I used the pipe, and that was good. And I primed it, painted it. You couldn't say that's really good. That was good. Yeah, I do sometimes. If something is missing, I try to make it part. I've got a lot of parts. A bag full of just plastic bits and pieces from other models. So yeah, I do create stuff if I can.
Yeah. Okay, Mark. Yeah, let's pass the book quickly.
Yeah, apart from the 3D printing and 3D printing and doing your own mold or your own molding with the resin and the molding materials, I think off the cuff, scratch built. If there's something missing, which you think yourself, well, yeah, that really needs that. It's broken off. Then you plastic card. I use the plastic card a lot for that. That and some filler. I've used what they call those things. They're like they're needled with balls on the end, if you know what I mean. There's like a they got plastic. Yeah. I use them for mirrors and stuff like this. Aerials, I use stretch sprue over a candle. Broken mud guards, replace them with plastic card molded and stuff like this. I think you need to have. It's funny enough when you're doing restoring, you tend to collect a lot of stuff. Which when you go into a shop, you're looking for things. You're looking around while the missus is shopping, or you're looking at stuff what you could use for your hobby. I mean, I bought a load of watch strap springs. When you got the on a watch strap, you've got those the pins what hold the strap to the actual watch itself, and you can squeeze the ends in together, if you know what I mean. Now they're great for bonnet hinges, yeah, because the two ends can come in and you can pinch them in, put two holes in, pinch them in, and then release it, and that'll go into your holes and hold your bonnet on, and boot and things like this. So I bought a load of those. But yeah, it's surprising what you collect. Biro springs, you can cut them down and make shock absorber springs out of them, and all manner of stuff you'll see, and you'll think, I could use that as a spare part for if I'm lost an area or lost a hubcap or something like that, or a door handle or something. Always, if you can scratch build it, all well and good. If it's a one-off, it needs doing. I mean, I bought a load of. I went to a chick shop and they were selling these little mini Jeep things, but they'd got a lovely set of wheels on them, ideal for corgi wheels, and they got rubber tires on them. They got a nice set of like mini lights, and they got on a roof as 4 spotlights, and the spotlights were shaped like the racing car mirrors that you get in the sporty cars. So I thought, well, there you go. I've got myself a set of 4 tires, mini lights. I've got some spotlights, I mean, and all for £2.50.
Yes.
So yeah, always done a look at, man.
I forgot what the question was.
Sorry for waffling on then, boys.
I forgot what it was. No criticism. I have actually forgot what the bloody question was. Do you ever had to create a part from scratch during restoration? If so, what methods did you use? Yeah, styrene. Styrene is a fantastic product if you can get it. What I find slightly frustrating just lately is there's more and more hobby shops shutting down. Even the Airfix models and paints. I say that. There was a shop that I used to go to. It was a toy shop, and they sold the Citadel paints and the Warhammer kits, but they also sold Airfix kits, Revell kits, and the paints to go with them. And they stopped doing the Revell and Airfix. They've kept the Citadel paints and moved them to a back shelf in the corner, out of the way where you wouldn't know where they are. So that's frustrating. There is a model shop I want to take D to when he comes over again, just in the West Midlands. A guy called Mike's Model Shop that does RC remote control vehicles, all the Tamiya paints, the Japanese plastic kits, you name it, does it all. The styrene sections.
Spending money again, Raz. He's spending me money again, mate.
Well, spending your money. And there's one opened up not far from me that's selling specialised plastic kit builds, like the. Can you remember the old black and white movie, Mark, Metropolis?
Yeah.
Where you've got the robot female figure sat in the chair.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's got things like that, which is stunning.
Oh, okay.
They're not obviously, they're not a fiver, but
No, he's lucky getting for a fiver nowadays, mate. Bloody hell.
yeah, they're specialised. But the guy James who runs the shop, really nice guy. Through this, I found the Warhammer shop just over the road. The good bunch of lads over the road. Yeah, so and you can go to the garden shop, believe it or not, like garden centres, and you can find gold and copper coloured wire if you're doing cyberpunk builds, which we've done all sorts in the past, crazy builds like. But it's surprising what bits of material, even in a haberdashery store, that you'll pick up and use for models. Hat pins are brilliant for making axles as well. Luke said I made some really parts on body kits from Body Filler. Yeah, you've got to mold it around.
Hot glue gun. I mean, hot glue gun. You can use that for molding as well.
Somebody's just got out of bed. Morning, Michael. How are you, mate?
It's about to go, Michael.
It's been a pleasure. We're just getting out of it. But my thanks personally to Michael for persevering with the 3D prints for the 64 scale figures. I did show a photo, Michael, but that was the hood over the guy that's the hood over mechanic, and if I put it next to my thumb, it's about it's behind my thumb. That helps, doesn't it? He's about an inch high, which is what 64 scale is. So well done to you, my friend. I'm gonna if I think you've uploaded some more, so I'm gonna have a go at doing the rest of them. I would ask Michael. It took me an hour and 30 minutes to print that little figure. Is it an hour and 30 if you do 6 at a time? Jerry's saying blue stuff on 2-pot epoxy for copying parts.
Yeah, blue. I've got some blue stuff actually.
There's a place down south that does the pink and blue stuff that Paul in the Devon Cornwall area that does the stuff that Paul Restorer uses to create molds.
Yeah, that's where I got my stuff from. But that green stuff, blue stuff, quite good stuff. You put it in boiling water, it softens it up. Yeah.
I think between us, most of us have had. Russ is saying bye for now, PJ, Martin, Laz, and everybody in the chat. Have a good one, mate. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Ross, thanks very much for coming on.
Much appreciated. Yeah, I think between us, most of us have had a bash at doing various bits and bobs, molds, and we even brought the dentist molding machine, didn't we, Mark? Me and you.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Michael's is a lot better than ours, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The Mad Professor. We call him the Mad Australian, but he's just a mad professor. He's just try it. Michael will try anything. Alrighty. Good stuff. Michael saying didn't do much. Used Microsoft 3D Builder to change the file from 3MF to STL. Okay. That doesn't mean much to most folks, but I know what you're talking about. The file extension. Yeah. Okay. We could have a catch up soon, Michael. I'm stopping online after this. If you want to catch up with us, you're more than welcome to drop me anybody that wants to drop us a line. I'll open up a messenger chat because I know this is not working for everybody. But I know Martin and Laz have probably I've drained them to death. But if anybody wants to have a chat after dark, I'll open up a messenger chat and you can come and join a messenger room. Just drop me a message and I'll bring you on board. So that all being said, we've comfortably done our 2 hours plus. Again, my thanks to Laz, who's battled through technical issues. Bless you. Love you to bits, mate. Thanks for doing that for us. My good friend, Mr. Martin, who I'm hoping to catch up with pretty soon. We've got to get Mrs. D back so we can get out.
Yeah.
He's had a. I will say this. I'm not going to say where Martin lives, blah blah blah. But he's had a fantastic drive done while sending Mrs. D away to a caravan up north while the job was done, and she's going to come back and think, bloody hell, I'm like a queen. I live in a royal house. God, like Buckingham Palace.
She'll probably drive straight past to the next house, no further down the road.
Yeah. She'll give it the royal way when she gets out of the car.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks to Martin. Thanks to
no problem, mate. No problem.
Thanks to everybody in the chat, our regulars or regular irregulars. Take it as you will. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the support. Don't forget, if you want to become a benefactor, just drop me a line, and I'll send you a link. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time with another live chat based on probably on the next 6 questions, or Mr. Iadol, if we can sort him out.
Or just basically a load of old waffle. Yeah.
Just a load of old waffle, because we can waffle for king and country.
We can waffle for England, mate. Yeah.
We are. So, from Laz, from Martin, from me, take care, folks, and we'll see you soon.